Orihime. This episode wasn't even about Ichigo. This episode was 1000% Orihime's decade plus payoff. I think this episode was beautiful. I didn't know what to expect. I've read the manga, but I've been watching the anime, and this was 100% an anime only, anime original episode. What else can I say? I mean, I think this episode in itself was beautifully done for Orihime's character. If you've been reading the manga, if you've been watching Bleach, if you've been watching Bleach for like since the early 2000s, since the big three, you've known that Orihime has mostly been like, she's part of the main cast, but she's more of a support character. She's our healer for most of the part, and she's not really the fighter. She's the pacifist, and rightfully so. But this episode, I didn't expect that ending. I didn't expect this to play out, but I think this episode plays her character so beautifully well, especially just because like it you made the pacifist fight one, but I don't even think it's about that. I think it's about all her character attributes since the beginning. Orihime's ability to reject, and we kind of got hints throughout it in the manga and in the anime with Aizen telling her she has divine ability, basically like to reject reality. And I want to say that comes from her trauma, from her younger days of when her parents, if we recall, her brother took her out of the abusive household from her parents, and then for the fact that she had to witness her brother dying, I feel like that's where her abilities come from, the ability to reject that she is. But like this episode also touches about like her mentality and how she wants to stand beside her friends and fight, not necessarily fight, but be by their side, not just be on the sideline as their healer, but be with them side by side, not at the back, but side by side. And I think that that specific part where she's saying, I wish I could be there, I wish, I wish, I wish. And it flashes back to when like Urahara told her, like, we're not gonna need you, you cannot be here. And like, when she had that fight with like when she was present in that fight with Ukilora and Ichigo present, and she was on the sidelines and she had to watch like Ichigo like lose his mind, go full like, you know, like full on the fight. And she had to be there. She was able to bring him back and whatnot, but she was never really taking like a full part, like as his friend, as her crush. She always had to like, and we saw it in the episode, the flashback. She always saw his back. She was always behind him. And not that necessarily it's wrong, but she wanted to be there. And I think that also pays off. And when she's having those thoughts of like, man, like I couldn't even be in the fight and I had to be in the back. I got kidnapped. Well, she voluntarily, put herself she voluntarily put herself with the enemy, but because that's how she thought, like it was always in her mind that she just could not get into that mind space of like having or visioning her ability beyond that. And I think we even saw that with like when they were training with Shinji and their buddies over there. Forgot, but like the one guy that had a similar ability to her couldn't even really help her because it's not really a common ability. It's a divine, godlike ability. And she never had anybody by her side to tell her, like, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. This is what I can do. She didn't have that confidence, I believe. Because I feel like her friends, not that they babied her, but their way of showing her love was like protecting her and being like, you're more to the side and we're going to protect you. This is your role. But she just didn't want that role. She wanted to be more and protect her friends more, which is rightfully so. Ain't nobody wrong in this situation. But when she's having those moments of doubt in this episode, and she's like, ah, man, I wish, and she's just like in her negative kind of like negative mindset, it's when Ichigo like grabs her hand and is like, has that look of his face. It's like, don't think of that. I don't look at you like that. We don't look at you like that, And it kind of brings her back to like what you call walk. And, she's having that conflicting moment, and you're seeing that progress of her coming that mentality, finally seeing and how she feels like her inner point of view after all these years, after witnessing all these fights. We never really see her POV as much, specifically, and she's mostly a fan service or is viewed as fan service, but I don't view her that way. She's always been there. She's been like the love triangle, but I don't even view her that way. I don't think most people view her that way. It's just throughout the episode we're seeing her develop. But like when she's getting like killed over and over and over again, for her to have her ability to heal and have that motivation, that drive to get back up and heal herself again, the fact Number one, she's a human. She's a human, and you're seeing Ichigo Jesus, you know, your friend, your crush, your loved one getting killed over and over again while you're getting killed over and over again, and you're like, I reject. Like, imagine that, like, mental anguish that she's going through. And the fact that Rukia shows up and we have that playful banter between them, like they're friends between them, and you see them like up in the front and she's in the back, and she's like, you kind of can like see her thoughts a little bit of like, I'm in the back, but I want to be right there. And it's like the fact that Yukawa even calls her out and says, that woman is your weakness, that woman is your ball and chain, like you can't even be full out without her being here. But let's all remember, without Orihime, half of the cast would be dead. Ichigo would be dead, as we saw several times. Rukia would be dead. I don't know with what direction we're going with, but the fact that she summoned all five, I believe her fairies, I believe that's what her fairies are, that she was able to summon herself and finally overcome her inner like blockage, her mental block, to go and reject Yukawa's entire existence. Like, just because, like, I don't even think it's about like the primary objective is not love for Ichigo. I think it's her love for her friends, because Ruki is there too. I think it's her love for her friends, her love for herself, and I think that's what we're seeing with her overcoming that mental blockage, is her finally loving herself and showing that full confidence that she has that power. She has the ability to reject. She can envision beyond what was like imposed on her by her environment, by her friends and enemies alike. And I think for her to finally stand up for herself and reject those ideals themselves, reject that Yuhawa, she's not a weak woman, reject Yuhawa's like the ability to kill. It's insane. I mean, we've joked about it, we've talked about it, we've had like discussions in the past as a fandom of like Orihime's can like reject a person out of existence, reject an adult human into a baby, and like we are seeing that. But the fact that she rejected herself and Yuhawa all together, I don't know what to expect from it. I've read the manga, I know who the pairings are. If you haven't, skip ahead maybe like 20 seconds, but it's Ichigo and Orihime, right, that they end up together. So how's that gonna work out? I don't even know what's gonna happen. The fight happened completely different, end of spoiler. But like, what's gonna happen? And the fact that like the music choice, and not only the music choice at the end, the silence at the end, we don't get Ichigo's reaction, we don't get Rukia's reaction, we only see them reacting like as she's going in to obliterate this man's existence and her existence as well. But we end to a screen of black and she tells Ichigo bye-bye. And it's like so heartbreaking, because it's like Orihime is doing it for the love of humanity, the love of her friends, and the love to protect, and the love of herself. And I think this is a really great payoff to her character. This is really amazing. I did not expect it. I remember reading the manga and I didn't really remember Orihime's like stand out too much in the fight. Especially, I believe in this part, Udio is present and Chad's present. I cannot recall. But the fight, I don't know where this is going. Which, by the way, on an added note, I like the direction that the anime only is going with Kubo's like insight, because I know the manga was rushed at the time and there were so many like loose ends, and I think this season we're really seeing that payoff and that cleanup of his and what he really envisioned for himself and the improvements upon it. But I'm so curious what's going to happen next episode, because she's gone, but I have a feeling that Yuhawa's going to like, I think he may have acted the rewrite or Almighty, if I remember correctly, and that's going to have to play something. But I'm so curious, like, if Orihime is coming back, because the power of friendship and love, I don't think she's gonna be permanently gone, especially with what the current arcs we got going on with the Hell arc, I believe. I don't think she's permanently gone, but I'm so curious, how are they gonna bring her back? You can't have Yuhawa like rewrite or use Almighty and bring her back. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I have a feeling Orihime is gonna play a role. At least this is my theory. She's gonna play a role in an alternate dimension. Wild thought. Just like Udio's fighting his fight, I forget the guy's name, our Bolandi over here. He has his like role in playing and severing with Yuhawa. Ichigo is, dealing with here. I have a feeling that Orihime is going to have a background over here, or at least we hope, but those are my theories. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Like and subscribe. Let me know. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Anyone who's been watching since like 2009, 2010 for Bleach, let me know. I never expected this watching like Orihime like develop into this character. The payoff I believe is so great. It's so beautiful. The whole animation, her angry face, like chef's kiss. But that's all for now. We'll see. We'll see what this episode brings us, y'all, because this is insane. So yeah, till next time.